Hello and welcome to chapter 173 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing this evening?
Not too shabby. Monday morning. Thankfully, we're having Monday morning. Don't okay. It's been a long day for me. I
Monday.
get Mondays off from work because I've been taking my dad to his chemo, but it's just been a long day. It's actually been a good day today. He's feeling a little better. He's gotten some nutrients in him now, so with his shakes, he's getting the proper amount. Well, close to the proper amount, closer than what it was. So he's getting some energy back, which is great. But at the same time, I don't know if he's torturing himself or what, but like I go there to pick him up, and then when I give him his food in his feeding tube, he sits there and he watches like these food channel shows. And don't
Oh,
get me
that is
wrong, they
total
are
torture.
delicious. But like today when I was over there, we were watching ones about meatballs, like at restaurants from around the country,
Yeah.
and oh man, they all look
Oh my
delicious.
God. Yeah, I'm terrible for those food channels. When I see them, even when I'm hungry, I'm like, I would love to have everything they're making right now.
Mhm.
Allison's mother got me into like this food competition tournament thing that she was watching, and I ended up like watching it for several episodes with her when we were visiting them last. I'm glad your dad's doing better in terms of getting nutrients and that. That's always like I said. Even Superman Lois did a good job of showing like how hard that is on.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
really did. Considering, I mean, I understand. I don't know everything. Obviously,
no,
it's all fairly new to me. But from the knowledge I have, Superman Lois is they're expressing it properly.
yeah. Uh, Too bad we don't have an episode. Well, there was a new episode of that, but we're holding them until we get the next three to talk about
Yeah,
them.
that's
We're
also
not
excellent.
doing the same thing with Titans, as there's only two episodes left. This was this series penultimate episode here, and I felt like since it was 55 minutes, why not discuss that as our opening topic? Especially since there's not much news going around right now. Considering there's a new Marvel film, go out and listen to Marvel Alliance. Brent and David uh, talked about the film. It was really good. David did a great job filling in for Chris. So please go give that a listen if you watched the film. I love the film. Chris, Joe, what do you think about the film?
It's my favorite Guardians movie. Like, it's really good.
Ooh, I haven't ranked them
I,
yet, but there is a discussion for me between the two because I really enjoyed. There was several parts of that film I was actually in tears. So and then
yeah,
go from
I
all kinds
definitely
of
got like
emotion.
close. I haven't listened to the Marvel Alliance episode yet. I had Comic Con over the weekend, so I was
Hmm.
busy with that. But it's definitely on my list when I go back to work tomorrow.
I was live for the first little bit, and then I had to bail out. But I've caught up recently. Yesterday, finished it, so it is a great discussion by them. So,
I mean,
uh,
it's Brett and David, and David
yeah.
is a good guy. So like,
Oh,
and those two are
they
friends.
hit
So I know it's
they
going to be a good discussion.
They hit all the points, so again, please check that out. But before we talk about Titans, let me get the network plugs out of the way. I just plugged Marvel Alliance, but I got to do the whole network, obviously. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 8 shows in total. On Mondays is Ranger Alliance, and that rotates bi-weekly with Slice of Film. On Tuesdays is DC Alliance. On Wednesdays is the Animation Nation. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. On Saturdays, bi-weekly as I walk through the multiverse. And Sundays, monthly is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel. Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. All three of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 8 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a dollar tier and a $5 tier. The dollar tier is basically a tip jar, like we're doing. You want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras, get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through DC films through the years. Stick with us as we cover everything. On tap this month for patrons is Batman Returns. We also have Chris and Brent, the Marvel Alliance guys, doing their MCU rewatch, not only films, but the one shots and series as well. We have Katie going through Star Wars comics with her husband Matt. We have Clay going through shows for the first time, and we have Joe's Multiverse Minutes, which now the curtain has been peeled back, and we can reveal that there was a crossover between. Right, we can reveal that now.
Yeah.
Okay,
It came
I just
out
want to make sure.
last
You were
Wednesday, and
giving
the
me a
next one's
Sid.
coming
You
out
were
this
giving me a
Wednesday.
Sid poker face. I'm like, am I doing something wrong here?
Oh, sorry. No, I was doing something else on a different screen. Sorry.
Okay, I was looking for okay. Yeah, so I joined Joe, so Animation Nation Multiverse Minutes crossover to talk about Beast Wars. We did obviously all of Beast Wars. Unfortunately, like I really enjoyed the nostalgia. It was fun nostalgia, great. Like I was reliving my childhood. Enjoyed all 3 seasons of Beast Wars to some varying extents. And then the other shoe
Oh,
dropped on that I forgot about.
we haven't gotten
Uh,
there yet.
we've had to do. I've gotten there, Joe. We haven't talked about the last season yet, but we had to do 2 seasons of Beast Machines too. And young Travis and old Travis are in they're both thinking the same thing when we're talking. So yeah, you hold that, but they were fun discussions. I really enjoyed that. It was a great show. It basically revived Transformers in the '90s. It was really at
It
a
really
dead
did.
point there.
It revived my love for it because I remember watching it when I was a kid, the actual regular Transformers in the 80s, and then just like kind of nothing because
Nothing
even by
for a
that
while.
point, like the show ended in 88 or 89 or something. And it's just like, all right, cool. Well, toys are here. That's it.
And so many things replaced it too. We had Turtles, Power Rangers. It really fell to the back. And then I can
Mask. Oh,
remember
mask.
this show was so popular. People were talking about it all the time in my school, and that was a varying thing. You didn't have the internet or like any engagements on social media
Exactly.
to kind of gauge what was working, especially as a kid. So I just remember that show being such a hit, and a lot of it held up. Even the CGI animation, which was at, like for its time. I'm going to hold everything, but that's a lot of
For the
part of
mid
our
90s,
discussions.
yes. Yeah, go check out if you guys are Patreon or if you'd like to hear it, go check out our Patreon and you can hear that episode and
So
the upcoming episodes of it every
yes.
Wednesday.
Yes, and we thank
Until
everyone that's a patron as well. So
yeah, yeah.
if you can't if you can't be a patron, if you take a quick 30, 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, does always greatly appreciate it. It helps other people find the show, and that's always a great thing. Okay, Joe. We have an episode here in Titans, a penultimate episode, season
Yeah.
4, episode 11. When did you watch this, and what did you think? Are my first like your spoiler free or just overall thoughts?
Yeah, I got
Need
to
me
watch
to
it
have one.
today when I was waiting, obviously, for my dad. Um as penultimate
Project
episodes,
Starfire, sorry, is the episode as well. I forgot to say that.
is that what it's called? Okay.
Yeah.
Um as penultimate episodes go, it wasn't the worst I've seen.
Hmm.
It was fine. Like I've definitely seen better. Like I'll give MCU credit with their Disney Plus shows. Their penultimate episodes tend to be bangers.
Hmm.
Um, but this one was very like eye opening and was fairly good. Um, there is a training scene with Tim and Jason. Spoiler alert: Red Hood comes back.
Hmm.
So I know Clay's gonna automatically hate it, but
Well, let's be honest here. There's no point in time that Clay is going to make it to the 11th episode of this season after the
oh, there's
stand
no
that he
point in time
made.
he's even hitting play on Titans.
Yeah, like
So
the stand that he made, like there's no way he can ever watch this now. Like it's like
yeah,
a thing you
but I
can't ever
mean,
get
I
back.
just it's just adding fuel to the fire because he wouldn't watch it because of Red Hood. So,
Yeah.
but the fun thing was though, I actually liked that interaction. It was a really good interaction.
Hmm.
Um, other than that, I mean, we'll get into it when we start breaking it down. I enjoyed the episode. I really did enjoy the episode. I'm looking forward to the finale.
I will say we're in agreement. I really enjoyed the episode. I don't know if it did enough to be a penultimate episode.
I
Like
don't.
the
Yeah.
stakes we were left with, I don't know. Like,
Well,
uh,
we never got
but we also have
confirmation.
it. We also had the longest episode of the series as the finale.
Yes.
So there is that too. But
But
I
isn't it only like 58 minutes though? Like
could be, but even that
not
is
very long.
pretty
Yes, it's
long.
long, but
The thing I will say with this too is I really enjoyed every storyline to some varying degrees, which was in this show's whole run, which was not always the case. And
no.
every single of the 3 storylines I enjoyed. Like you said about Red Hood, I actually enjoyed his appearance too, Joe. I didn't hate it at all. I thought it worked.
But
I
it's one of those
appreciate
things.
what Dick did. Obviously, you're going to sweep under the rug that he's a murderer, but
Well,
yeah. But Hank had to get out to go be Jack Reacher, so we all have to get on to bigger and better things. So we can't really.
mhm.
maybe Red Hood actually did a good
Which
thing.
I've been reading or listening to the audiobooks of the Reacher series, and all I picture is Alan Richardson in that role.
Yeah,
So
so but I really enjoyed, like I said, all 3 storylines. We'll get into it now in a second. But I'm shocked at how enjoyable this 4th season was. I don't know what is going to happen in the finale. That is one thing. Like, I have seen no material from it. I don't
where they
know
left it, yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't have a
next up,
trailer
or
or
they
a
may have a YouTube thing out, but I didn't look it up at all.
yeah. I
I
just
again,
yeah.
going from
Although
where we
we're only a couple days away, so
yeah, and going from where we came, last season to this season, it is night and day in terms of at least a cohesive story,
yep.
and yeah, some of it you might not think makes any sense, but I still really enjoy this season as a whole, and I am surprised. Like, they'll have 58 minutes to stick the landing here now. If they have set up, well, let's get into the episode, or the 3 storylines
Now.
going on in the episodes. Because we have Dick, Coy, Gar, and Raven looking at Project Starfire, that whole storyline. So, what do you like about that storyline, Joe? Or dislike? I shouldn't say. I
Um,
shouldn't assume you liked it.
that that one wasn't. I didn't like that part so much. I mean, seeing everybody together was fine, but there was a point where Raven is talking to Gar,
Hmm.
and they're like basically hinting at, once this is done, we're all going to
Go our
move
separate ways.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and that was the feeling I was getting. They weren't saying it, but that was
Well,
definitely the feeling I was getting.
they know that this is the end, but I think they'll
Exactly.
do some sort of thing where whoever's remaining and survive, they'll go their separate ways. But they'll you may even end up with those Titan communicators, a nod to the animated show. Like, everyone holds on to one of them
Well,
just in
and and
case.
this it's no different than, like, there's been many times in the comics where Titans, they put the call out and all the Titans come back.
Yeah.
Same thing with Justice League. That's happened a couple times where they call up everybody, reserve
Hmm.
everybody, and they all come back and they do the one big battle. So I can definitely, that storyline was interesting. Well, not as interesting as I wanted it to be. When once it connected with the Connor Sebastian storyline, it got a little more interesting. And I'll just talk about the Connor Sebastian because they're both so connected.
That all
Um,
ties together too. Yes. Yeah.
so that part wasn't like, I was seeing Connor like scared
Yes, and
was
you see that
interesting.
early on, like, he's
Yeah,
realizing early on that
he
like,
messed up.
honestly,
He messed up bad.
props to him, because he didn't have to say anything, and all I got from his facial expression was, like, "Oh my god, like, I bit off way more than I can chew, like, I need help." Like, I got
Well,
that from his look.
and even that, like, he kept, instead of trying to get out completely, he kind of kept like dipping his foot in when he
Yes.
grabbed the confession, or I think is what the subtitles called him, the right hand man of Mother
Yeah,
Mayhem,
of Mother
uh,
Mayhem, yeah.
and was like, all right, hey, this guy is telling you the truth. Like, if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that Mother Mayhem is just gonna kill you, like, once Brother Trigon comes, listen to this guy. You know him.
Mhm.
Here's what he's gonna say. And he says it, and he's like beating the pulp out of this guy
Yep.
to
Like,
the point where
completely
he even stabs a wine bottle opener into his arm. He's like, all right, here you go, drink. Like,
and
he's gone too far. But at the same time, he's like, I have to keep this monster under control until I can figure out how to stop him. And he just can't.
And you get a really good conclusion to that with Dick talking to him when he's like, I can't go back." He's like, "Yeah, we all do some shit sometimes that
Yeah.
that's real. That's why we have us all." That was a really good little speech there. And for me, I really enjoyed the Project Starfire storyline, because more so when it connected with Connor and
That
Mercy,
From that point
because
on is when I'm like, okay, now I'm liking it.
because I was a little bit confused with the whole dreaming thing first.
There was So right when it opens up, I had a little issue with it because they show a back shot of Starfire walking away from the camera, and then they keep going to a front shot and back and front and back. But when she's in front, she's on a moving platform, and it was very obvious. And to me,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's annoying.
I didn't
That's
even
just
notice
that's
that. That's one thing I didn't notice, but I was
yeah.
looking up a bit higher, I guess, instead of I'm sure if I went,
Well, no,
and
and
we
even that,
watched that.
like, even when it's a front shot, if you're walking, you move your shoulders, you walk. And when it's a back shot, you see her actually walking away. In that front shot, it's just
That's from the finale too, right? That's we're gonna see that scene in the finale, I think.
possibly more than maybe. But no, other than that, like I said, I agree with you. Once it got to the point where Project Starfire and the Connor
Also
started
made me
crossing over
appreciate Lex a little bit more, just
a little,
his
dude, he was Lex was freaking
contingency
smart.
plans, yeah. Yeah, he had contingency plans for every he knew just in case.
Really
That's
mad now that they killed him off in the first episode.
yeah, I know, I thought he would come back, yeah, but he has clones too, who knows? We may get a final appearance from him, I doubt it,
I
considering we're
doubt it.
getting the first appearance in Superman and Lois of Lex, so,
Is that this
uh,
week or is that next
I
week?
think it might be this week or next week. I saw a
It's
promo
coming up.
for it.
It's coming up.
Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed that storyline, especially how it connected, like you said. You talked about it pretty much everything with the Connor Sebastian storyline. Say the ending where he sticks his Mother Mayhem with the horn and kills her,
Yeah.
and then Connor throws Project Starfire at him. The other note to be is Dick kind of wussed out and stopped it just before they got to 100%. I don't
And
know if
of
that would have
course,
made just
yeah,
because he didn't want Corey to die, even though like she's called him out on that multiple times. Even in this episode, she says like you keeps trying to find like stop my destiny or something like that. What would you do if someone's trying to do that? And he's like, if they're trying to show me another way, I'd be pretty pumped about that.
sure. But his other way, by the end of this episode, doomed everybody. Like,
Also,
because he pulled the
prophecies
plug, and now it was only the Project Starfire only got up to what 98.6%.
98.6. Yeah.
So it's like, well, it's just shy of being 100%. You can't get them, and sure enough, when Connor
It
throws it,
basically assists him into transforming into Brother Blood.
I will say one of the things I don't like, and this has been consistent with the series overall, is when Connor throws Project Starfire at him, kills air quotes kills him, knocks him out. You see him on the ground, and he's in the clothes he's wearing, and then Connor turns around, and then Brother Blood comes up, and then he's in the costume, and I'm
Yeah.
like, so they just don't care about actually
No, that stuff.
changing the stuff.
Well,
Whatever.
we've seen that from coming from Lazarus Pit and
That's
showing
what I'm
up.
saying. Like it just
Yeah.
we saw it with Gar when he came out of the red. Like it just whatever.
Yeah, that's
Do
just
you
something that.
think Connor's dead?
No, no, no.
You don't
There
think
will
so?
be far more. It will be far more gruesome. Like you would like Ham would go through, and I just think he's unconscious, like Magic. With Superman too. I just think he's in the corner. He'll
Okay.
be mobile for next episode.
Okay. I don't know
Yeah.
because he got thrown that pretty hard, and then when they showed him his face was pretty scarred and his eyes were open.
Oh yeah, I still think
So I don't know.
he's alive. Just
Okay.
I don't know if they would kill him like that. I feel like he would go out and bit better. Like Titans would see him kind of
I,
deal. I could be wrong.
are you kidding me? How did Donna go out again?
Just for the final season, and yeah, if they looked at anything on social media, they would have saw how well that
That's what I'm
reaction went.
saying.
Yeah,
But
so
no, okay.
I
I'm
have
not sure. I would love for him to be back, but also I think it'd be interesting if he did get killed off. But we'll
before
see.
we get into our next storyline, let's take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ads part network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. We have obviously the third storyline that I was talking about before with Tim training with Red Hood in Gotham. So,
Yeah,
what do you think about this?
this was my favorite.
Mhm.
Seeing Tim in Robin costume and then seeing him train with Jason, like I was saying earlier, I loved it. It was great. The fact that I picked up like almost immediately when Jason showed up
Mhm.
that this was Dick's play. Sent him down there not to not to search after this guy like he wanted him to, or not to get him away from what's going on in Metropolis, but to get him proper training
Mhm. It's
because
like
he
it's
hadn't
like
really
Jo
gotten any.
it's like sending a sports reference here, but it's like sending a pitcher down to triple A or double A to get some practice before they come back up with the big club
Correct.
to uh, like show their thing. And I loved it too. I really, really enjoyed this storyline. I thought Red Hood was really good here.
Hmm.
Less angsty, uh, really, like I said, and one thing I do appreciate, which I give props to different shows, like Arrow did it with the newbies in season 5. When someone's just starting out, I do appreciate them failing out attempts. Even though Tim's been at this now for enough time with Dick and with other people that I can like believe that he would get the best of these people. I do appreciate him struggling, him
Mhm.
not getting the job done super quick. Like that's what I do appreciate there
And
because
not only
he's not
that,
at this
but
one.
then they show his smarts, like when he follows Jason to his hideout,
Yeah.
and he's looking at that board, and he's just like, "All right, well, you've got this is kind of right. You got this thing right, but the rest of it's wrong." And he like erases everything, and it's like, "This is what it all means."
Yeah, he
Like
did,
you
and it was
were,
Fibonacci sequence, which I
yes,
did
that's what it
a
was.
math fair project about that
Oh, nice. I don't
way back.
remember.
Yeah, it's
um,
just
but
patterns.
but the fact that when Jason calls up and he's like, "Hey, I'm sending calls to Dick," which again, like I said, I called it in the get go. He's
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, sending him back all in one piece. Everything's great." And he's like, "Yeah, he's a better Robin than me.
he'll be a
He's
better
gonna be
Robin
fine."
than me. Yeah,
Yeah.
which
So
I
like,
really appreciate that.
awesome.
It was a nice send off for Jason's character if we don't see him anymore.
I doubt it. I do kind of wish Dick would have said, "I think he'll be a better Robin than me as well," or something along the lines. But Dick
Yeah,
is,
yeah. For this Dick, yes. For
yeah.
this Dick, who's bashing people's face in the first episode and like smearing glass. Yeah, I would agree that would work for,
But
or
that's
probably even
we're
saying
also
he'll be the best of all of us or
something
something
like
like
that. Yeah.
that.
But this is also a very egocentric Dick Grayson. So
Yes, so yeah, that not as shocked, but
not gonna happen.
it says something to him for sending him off, but also you could say like he's going to benefit him when he gets back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 100%.
yeah, so I don't know how like out of the kindness of his heart him doing that, but yeah, I really enjoyed that him giving him the bike at the end, and like we talked about, the suit was fantastic for him. The
Suit looks great.
suits have been top tier for this show. Like all the costumes have been pretty darn awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
give.
we even see Brother Blood's suit as well. Finally. So I mean, next episode should be great with
So I have a
with Blood.
couple of questions for you for the
Mhm.
final episode before we get on to the news. Will Starfire have to sacrifice herself
I don't
in the series
know.
finale, do you think?
I don't know. Part of me says yes, because it would go along with the story that has been portrayed since season 1. However, I love the character portrayal.
Mhm.
If I could remember the actress's name, I'd be like, she's been
And
doing
adopt.
thank you. She's been doing an amazing job as Starfire, so I don't want her to go, but at the same time, it would follow what has been set up since season 1. Um,
Agreed.
I'm
And
I'm maybe like 65% that she'll die in the series finale.
I'm a hard 85 right now.
Okay.
I the only thing that's holding me back is her and Dick having the storybook life at the end because
Correct.
this is the series finale. Although I say it would like have a lot more lasting impact if the show's never coming back and it's done if you send her off in such a like badass heroic way,
100%. Yep.
taking off trying, and that comes to my second question here, Joe. Will we see Trigon now that the horn is blown? And an extra question to that: will he look like he did the last time we saw him? Not the person, but the form that he had.
I don't remember him in the form. That was in the
It
beginning
was
of
like
season 2,
a
right?
man beast type
Okay.
uh,
Um,
thing.
if anything, I think it would be disappointing if we didn't see Trigon. In all honesty, the horn's been blown, you know. Um, and if we do see him, I think it will be the bestial form and not the human form. But I know you also asked any changes. I don't think there will be any changes. It might just be the same. I honestly could be wrong, but at the same time, it could just be Brother Blood is changing to let him out, but then the Titans have to stop him that way. I don't know.
I'm really interested to see how this one's going to turn out. Are we going to see him? Is he going to be played by? Will we see the human form of him played by the same person that played him in season 1? Uh,
Okay.
I don't know. Will we see him? I sent you a little thing there in
Yeah,
the
I just
private
looked at
chat
that.
that of
If it looks like
him, which
that I would hope maybe he's bigger.
yeah,
Like
I like
he's
honestly the animated version in Justice League, Dark Apocalypse War, and I can't remember the other one, Justice League versus Teen Titans, maybe. Looks
just like
more badass. I
yeah,
know it's different to translate it from animations. Obviously, you're got a bit more ability to make him menacing, and this is a TV show. I just really hope he looks a bit better than what he did the first time. I did not like him in his first appearance. That was clunky and just not good. Obviously, they chopped up in the finale and changed it around. That people probably forget about that. It's been so long ago and so many different
I
streaming
forgot about it
services.
because it's been so long.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see how this culminates. Like, will Raven survive? Will I don't think Brother Blood will survive. Will he just be killed by Trigon pretty quickly? Really interested to see how all this turns out, Joe. I'm in for the finale. I'm
I
excited
am.
to watch it.
I am too. I think it'll be good to see. It'll be fun to talk about here
Hmm.
either on the show next week or on a separate episode. We'll
By the
see.
way, the news is going lately. It'll probably be on next week's.
Which is fine. That's
Which
fine. That just means we can get through it and don't have to. I know both of our times to try and record something separate is kind of becoming thinner and thinner lately.
Yeah. But that was segue. That was a nice segue too into the news that we have. We're going to segue into the news wrap up of the week. And first up is DC Comics promotes Jim Lee to president, publisher, and chief creative officer. Uh, I'm super excited by that. I think Jim Lee is awesome and he's good at navigating. Why is this showing up for me? Okay, that's
Yeah, he's been
uh,
doing a good job so far. I haven't had too many complaints, but I also, if I'm being honest, I haven't read a lot of DC in the last 6 months. Um, and I know that's not his area yet. He's literally just got promoted, so everything that's been going on has been under his realm. That probably won't really come for another 6 to 8 months. Like his ideas would start to flow through into the comics, but yeah, good for him. Like that's awesome. I mean, he's
yeah.
just been
Is
moving up and up the ladder for the last like decade with DC
what
Comics. So
what it says here, Jim Lee, the world-renowned artist, writer, editor, and publisher, was named president, publisher, and chief creative officer of the iconic comic book company DC. Pam Lidford, president of Global Bands, franchises, and experiences at Warner Brothers Discovery, announced on Wednesday, and Lee will report to her. Lee
very
will
cool.
continue in his primary duties as publisher at DC Comics, leading the creative team at the world's famous comic book company. He also leads the creative efforts to integrate DC's publishing portfolio of characters across stories across all media, supporting Warner Brothers Discovery's family of brands and studios. So it sounds like he'll work with both, not only DC Comics but DC Studios as well.
Okay.
So that's always a good thing. Jim Lee is a pretty great guy. And obviously knows what he's doing when it comes to comics. Joe, we have have three new posters from the Flash. Two I really enjoy. Well, three I really enjoy. Just one of the poses I think is a little wooden. We have the Flash here, Worlds Collide. I think it looks super cool with lightning coming off the boots, and I don't know what the hate is from the people about the suit. I think it looks great here. And then we have Batman, which is what I think is the awkward like toy pose. Like I think I have a Batman figure back here with the same pose. And third, with the Batmobile in the background. And thirdly is Supergirl flying in the air, which I think is a pretty badass. It looks like Overweening Manor. What do you think about these three posters? Do you agree with me about the wooden Batman pose?
Yeah,
Or are
I
you
kind
just
of
seeing it?
do agree with you about the Batman standing in front of the Batmobile like that. Which I
Not hating on it. I just that
no
was a
no
funny pose. Like the
yeah
Batmobile is enough to draw my attention back from it to be like, actually, I wouldn't hate on. I got more. I don't have enough time in this world to hate on a poster like that. Just first thoughts when I saw it. Yeah, like 'cause that
yeah
wouldn't hurt.
yeah I don't know. They're all good. I do enjoy
Mhm.
them all.
Yeah,
I think I like the Supergirl one better only because this is our first live action movie. Nope, nope. You know what I mean. New
yes,
Supergirl. We haven't had a Supergirl on the big
Since Helen
screen
Slater.
with Helen Slater
And that
movie
was
to
patrons know that was ridiculous.
well, look, at least it won't be a cardboard cutout of her flying out of the ocean, okay?
You are 100% right on that,
It'd be
Joe.
CGI. But no, like these, I do. Out of the three of them, I like the Supergirl one. The Flash one would be the next one. The Batman one looks great, but
Mm,
my biggest issue with the Batman stuff in general is it's all just nostalgia baiting. I
yes,
think
that's
we've mentioned that before, and that's fine. I'm here for it. Like I'm
who
really
knows,
going to enjoy
maybe
those scenes
I
when they hit
I'm
theaters.
not gonna rule Andy Muschietti out for giving Keaton a story arc in this
Oh hell
movie,
no!
like, something that's appealing, but right now, it's all, like Joe said, nostalgia, like, capitalizing on nostalgia, which no, you can't criticize you can't say it's similar to No Way Home because they did not market the other
Correct.
2 Spider-Men until
Everybody knew they were
yes.
coming in, but we was nothing was official until the movie came out.
Yeah, there were
This
no posters.
is
Yeah.
this is hey, Batman's here. We're getting Michael Keaton. You guys want to see him, right? Come to the theaters and watch him.
Yeah, and this is also but this gets me excited because it's literally 5, 6 weeks until we get that film, like, it's June 16th, so it's the 8th of May right now. So, a month and 8 days.
5 weeks.
Yeah, so super excited that, and we have Across the Spider-Verse as well a week before that, so giddy
Two
up
weeks
for
before
2
that.
weeks before that, sorry,
Because
so
Transformers Rise of the Beast is before that.
yes, that is true.
Man, June's gonna be busy.
I know, it's gonna be a
Because
lot of
at the end of
movies.
the month we got Indiana Jones.
Travis may have to wait to see that one.
I mean, that might be a nice little birthday present to myself, so we'll see.
That could be a Tuesday maybe for me, who knows?
There you
Yeah, so let's take our final ad break of the evening before we get out of here. Listeners, we're at Ad Support Network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, let's sift through the news. We got our ads in. And we have another thing from The Flash, which is the budget coming out. The Flash movie budget is one of the most expensive in DC superhero history. 220 million, which is the sixth highest budget DC movie. Can you name the other 6 movies ahead of it?
No, I don't pay attention to that stuff.
You can guess a few of them, I think. With Justice League,
Okay.
BVS, Black Adam at Justice League and BVS were 300 million each. Black Adam was 260, Dark Knight Rises was 250, and Man of Steel was 225.
Okay. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Um Now, so that means this movie has to make what? About 3? No, about 5 just to break even?
Yes, I think double the break even. So
I think so.
yeah,
Uh,
roughly.
but also at the same time, like this movie, not only I understand it's expensive, like VFX are gonna be out the wazoo in this thing, but also the promotion. Like this thing got pushed back a couple times, and
Hmm.
promotion on it has been mainly Batman.
Yep.
So the nostalgia factor, like I was just talking about, um, it's gonna make its money. Like,
Oh yeah, but the
let's
thing
be
about
honest,
it is
it'll make its money.
like we were talking about, June is so jam packed. I don't
It
know how
is.
much money it's going to make.
I mean, it'll definitely
Worldwide
get
is the key for this,
y-
but I think this could be a big hit worldwide
exactly. Like,
with
it's
all
definitely
the
gonna get the
stuff you have
opening
going on.
weekend. It's the weekend after. It should get because I can't think of anything off the top of my head of what's coming out. I'm sure there's something, but I can't think of it at the moment. But then it going up against Indy is going to be um interesting. I think Indiana Jones again with the nostalgia factor will beat it out, but let's hope it can get something those first two weekends.
Same. I'm trying to look here to see if I can. Okay. Uh, Secret Invasion comes out the Wednesday after.
Yeah, but
Obviously, I'm just
that's on
joking.
Disney
I
Plus.
know that was a joke. Nope, there's nothing that first week that would take from
Okay.
it.
So yeah,
Really,
so this is gonna have 2 strong weeks, and obviously we've been, the group chat has been watching the drop for um
every film.
all movies, and it's usually somewhere between what 50 and 70% normal on a
Yeah.
normal basis.
Good films are on really good performing films are under that, obviously,
Yeah,
but Joe's pretty much right on the money there. The worse, the higher 60, the worse performing film it usually is indicator of. So yeah, it's a tough thing. It's been a pretty bad second weeks for comic book films on right. I'm hoping Guardians of the Galaxy kicks that because
I think
um,
Guardians will be an outlier on that one.
unfortunately, what for some people's competitive bubble here, both if either one of these are successful, it's good for the whole comic book brand. They want both of them to be successful for the brand, like for the comic book films. We get more and more and more of them, the more both of these companies are successful making their films. So
Yeah, but we also are now living in a post-COVID world where
that's true too.
people, and Brent talks about this all the time. Why go out to the movie theater when I can wait 45 days and I can rent it at home, or it's going to be on a streaming service like
If it's a
HBO Max or
if
Max
it's a
or
bomb for DC, it might go on the streaming service even earlier, like Shazam.
exactly, or Black Adam. Like it's
Yeah.
just it's one of those things where Max will put it out there quicker than Disney Plus, and I mean it's all contractual
Well,
stuff,
they had
obviously,
day and
but
date too at one point in time, so we
sure,
know they're
and
not
that's
scared to
fine.
throw it on at some point.
And that was fine during the COVID times. Now we're
Oh
past
yeah, I'm
that,
not
and people
saying to go
should
back to
be
that.
going
Yeah.
back to the movie theaters, but everybody is now okay with waiting until they can just watch it at home in the comfort of their own home. And I'm not against that. Like I personally, I love going to the theaters, so I'm going to go to the theaters that weekend. But there's definitely some movies like I didn't get a chance to see Scream 6 in
Mhm.
theaters. It's now on Paramount Plus, so I can watch it whenever, and I'm happy with that. But this is a movie where, especially now, the movies in general, like you had said, it needs a good second week. But because we don't have that anymore, because people aren't going to the theaters anymore, it has to be word of mouth. Now, this has
Yeah.
been getting a ton of good word of mouth so far, similar to what Guardians got a ton of great word of mouth. So I'm interested to see what this next weekend's going to bring. This is getting a big amount of word of mouth because of you know what's going on. People have already seen the movie. It was screened last week, I believe, or the week before.
Yeah,
So
CinemaCon.
there are reviews out there. Um, definitely, if you don't want to know, you know, start
Mute King.
muting those words. We talked about that last week. Um, but the reviews so far have been positive, and that's good,
Mhm. I'm
which
very
means
excited.
people are gonna go see it. Maybe not everybody, but people. What does Snell talk about all the time about his? I think it was his
Parents and
dad.
stuff, same thing.
Yeah.
My dad said the same. I think his mom, or I'm not sure. My dad said the same thing to me. Asked if Michael Keaton was coming back for good and all this
So,
kind of
and
stuff. Because he saw
that's
a
an
commercial.
audience that
He saw a
has been
commercial. Yeah.
tapped out for so long because they watched it 40 years ago when it was in theaters.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so
It's
they're
yeah.
getting that crowd. Like it's gonna be good. Like this movie's gonna make money. It's gonna have a good week, first week. I'm fingers crossed it doesn't have the big drop that second week, but we won't know obviously
Until
until
we
it
get
comes
there.
out.
I'm just excited. I wish we get here now to review that film. I can't wait to see it, Joe.
I'm I'm looking forward to seeing everything on the big screen.
We've got a couple little things about Superman here, not a whole lot. Before I get into this, I should have said this at the start of the show too, but we obviously support the writer's strike here
Oh
at
hell yeah,
WGA.
100%.
And we put out a tweet saying as much. But James Gunn turned in his first draft of Superman Legacy just before the writer's strike. But he has already said that he will not be working on this while the writer's strike is ongoing. I don't know if that coincides very well with what David Zaslav and them are saying about showrunners having to showrun while waiting for the writers to come back. Uh,
Yeah, this
he's
is that's not good. I
no.
know the AI writing stuff has been fun to watch because they're just like amalgamations and horror looking at. And I'm like, I definitely would watch a whole movie like that, but at the same time, um, I like that's just in jest because I know if too many people say that, these companies are gonna do it.
Well, I can just say for myself on YouTube, I have seen a lot lately of videos and a couple channels with animated episodes and sometimes films, and you can tell they fed them into the to an AI program
Oh,
and said
dude.
generate like audio for this summarizing this
Yeah.
film. They took out the audio of the actual movie or show and they just lay it over it. I'm just like, this is terrible. Why am I
South
getting ads for this?
South Park did that on one of their most recent episodes this season. Now, they did it for fun, and it was a
Yes.
really good episode. But yeah, like I I am afraid that this is something the companies are looking at like hard to try and do during this strike, which
Anything to cut
could
costs.
extend the strike. But I also think the problem is people will watch the first handful if they actually do this out of curiosity, and that will give these companies false hope that, oh, this is going to work. We got this. We don't need writers anymore.
Well, they'll just end up reaping what they sow there, Joe. They
Oh
have
yeah,
to cut them
100%.
in a bit more. It's the streaming and all that that's coming into play here. They're not getting their proper cut, and they're not asking for a whole lot. I don't think comparative to some exec salaries like Zaslav, for example. So yeah, this I just hope they get this sorted out soon because I don't want to miss any project. Daredevil's stopping filming right now, so this is sucky suck. So yeah, just hope this gets done soon enough. And obviously, the news going around as well. James Gunn teased that Crypto is going to appear in his Superman film. How shocked are you? Because I am not shocked at all.
I mean, it hasn't been in any other movie, so cool.
No,
But at
yeah,
the same time, like this,
it's not
I'm
shocking to me. I just thought it would probably come
it's
in the
not.
next film instead of the first
Well,
Superman film.
it's one of those. It's probably going to be crypto because he's not going to be a kid. Um, maybe it's going to be a flashback. Maybe it's going to be he shows up at some point. He's in the I better say
Fortress.
Batcave. He's in the fortress, uh, and he's the protector of the fortress. I, who knows?
That'd be pretty
It's
cool.
probably not going to be a big role,
No,
but he even if he just shows up for a minute, all right.
I love Crypto on Titans. 100% for this on a big screen. Give me this any day of the week. And the other thing, I got punched that has been got punched all the time, and I don't know how much I can get into this at all. New Superman game hinted at by Warner Brothers Discovery boss David Zaslav. He said down here, we have a very good gaming business with 11 different studios and a real talented capability. But the real differentiator for us as companies that we own our IP, that IP belongs to us and we're developing it. And in some cases, we may choose to develop it with a third party gaming technology. We may be the only media company that owns, whether it be DC Universe, Harry Potter, all the content that we own, Game of Thrones, that's all for us to deploy. And I think that's particularly important strategically. He talked about Hogwarts Legacy as well. And then he says here, it may be when we launch a product on Max or HBO, and when we have a game, that game belongs to us. But there's this in betweener. It may be in the next couple of years that we launch a Superman movie, and people spend more time, and there's more economics of people just hanging out in the Superman world and universe. So, um,
I'm not holding my breath.
no, but sounds like he's trying to correlate it with if you have a movie out, why not put out a game? So I won't complain about getting us a
Cool.
Superman film. Yeah.
That happened in the 90s, and we had such great movie tie-in
There,
games.
hey, there was some good. Iron Man was a good game, a movie tie-in game. That wasn't too bad. The first one. I
Okay.
don't know about any other ones. Just sort of some Spider-Man games. Spider-Man 2 wasn't too bad for PS. There's some. Joe's right. There's far more misses than hits. And I'm just being optimistic because
You're
we
trying
haven't
to
had
be,
a
and I
Superman
appreciate that
game.
about
We
you.
haven't had a goddamn Superman game since they flew through those freaking rings. Like I literally bought. Let's just move forward about that because thank you Nintendo 64 for a Superman game. That was
Yes, you're
the
right. We haven't had a proper Superman game probably since
The
well, there was a Death of Superman.
Death and
Yeah,
Return of Superman for the
and
SNES.
even that wasn't really like the greatest. It was
No hate on that.
oh, I never played it, so I don't
Oh,
know. I
it
really
was
can't speak. I
pretty
just
good beat 'em
speak
up,
of okay,
for just difficult, really difficult.
okay.
Yeah. So, Joe, we have there's a new Justice League animated movie. Obviously, it was teased at the end of the last one.
I haven't
And
watched
it's
the last one, so
getting you're not missing much.
yeah, I
And
still
getting
haven't.
an R rated for Justice League there. What do you think about that? It's Justice
And
League War World. So
okay,
yeah.
and this is connected to the new animated universe,
Tomorrowverse.
right? Okay,
Tomorrowverse they're calling it.
the what?
Tomorrowverse.
Tomorrowverse.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll just call it the Rebirth universe.
Yeah, like
So
some people say.
yeah. Um, this our first Wonder Woman, right? For this universe.
Yep.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
No, it's not.
Um,
Sorry. If it's anything, I think it's the same one that was in Justice Society.
oh,
Yeah.
see, I just
It's
assumed that was a different one because that was
I assume
different
not because
worlds.
they don't age. I assume that it was. I thought he just went back in time, not that he went to a different world. I could be wrong about that.
It's been a minute since I watched it. I really should rewatch it because I did enjoy that one. Um, actually, I
And
can rewatch all of them if I'm being
it
honest.
joins Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, Constantine City of Demons, the movie, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, and Constantine House of Mystery as rated R. And
Um,
the thing about this is I enjoyed all of these animated films.
like the Justice League Dark and Justice League Dark Apocalypse War made sense. Hell to Pay,
Yep.
yeah, sure.
Suicide
Did you
Squad,
need it?
Double Cross.
Yeah, but did you need it though? Like you didn't have to be R on that one. And then the Constantine City of Demons, yeah, that was okay.
And same thing with the House of Mystery short. Yeah, you had to have them as the demons coming back,
The
killing
House of
him
Mystery
multiple
Short definitely
times.
needed
Yeah,
it.
I think with
Um,
Constantine it was warranted. I
I guess
don't think they
but
went either way. When I remember Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, there was a lot of double crossing, a lot of
there
Suicide Squad
was.
members being killed
Well, like
off of that car.
the first like what 10 minutes, half the
The
team gets
train scene.
destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah, you had a whole movie.
So I guess if it's more on the
Violent
gore,
side, yeah.
then it is.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know if
Okay.
there was that many 60 time scenes. I don't maybe one with Dr. Fate at the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was like banging like 18 different prostitutes or
He's
something.
like a stripper, yeah. He was
Yeah.
like a stripper, I think.
Um.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I
No. I'm not against it, but maybe just a little. It depends on. I mean, War World can be gritty, sure, but maybe it's just a little too early.
yeah, because they didn't do the Justice League War and Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Those were just regular PG-13
Well,
run of the
those were also
mill.
the beginning of the New 52 universe
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
I'm just saying those were the first. This is the first time we're seeing the Justice League in a Justice League title in this
Correct.
animated universe, and they did the same thing with Justice League. They showed us two Justice League films. Obviously, it got the R by
Yeah,
the
but
time we got to
this is
Apocalypse
also like
War.
the 8th movie, 7th or 8th movie, so I guess it's not as
10th
early as I
movie, they're
thought.
saying here, 10th.
The
So I
10th?
don't know where they're getting 10, but yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it's the 8th one.
they're saying 10th entry into the Tomorrowverse.
Well, I've got the sides of or the spines of those Blu-rays that say otherwise.
I don't know why they say 10th entry into that. I'm reading it here. Well, I'll
This says latest entry. Oh, no, 10th film. Okay.
yeah.
Let's
In the
click on the
Tomorrowverse. So yeah, I'm not sure there, but anyway, I'm excited to see this film. I hope because they skipped over a lot of Justice League forming, Justice League events. I hope we see some of that shown in flashbacks. Maybe I'm not sure, but I can't wait to see this film when it does come out. The final thing here, Joe, before we talk about some shows, David Zaslav sticks his foot in his mouth and says he believes the strike will end because everyone has a love for working.
I mean, yeah, that's the writers want to work
Yeah.
for the right reasons. Like they're not getting paid, or they're not. I should say getting paid. They're not getting their respective dues. I I'm a union employee with GM, so I understand the fight, and I'm right there with them 100%.
Hmm.
Um, company company's gonna company. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna try to get the most for the least amount of money. Um, and the writers are just like, no, we're good. We want this done right. And yeah, they do. Writers do want to work, but not for nothing.
No, they can't be not. They can't be like you can't be a part of writing a part of a series that's on cable and streaming and not be able to afford your rent. I think that's a little
Correct.
bit messed up in terms of the priorities there. So they really have to change this. And David Zaslav just has to sit down and shut up until the strike is over because he's his own worst enemy, and you can't say anything when you get paid what you get paid, especially with your
Right
stock
there.
options and everything.
Mhm.
When they take over, arguably like he's getting like in the 200 millions in his salary with your stock options and what they're all worth at the moment. So yeah, just don't want to hear from those people. It's very frustrating when you do that.
But
Just shut up.
Travis, but Travis,
Bob Iger, did we hear from Bob Iger?
how are these CEOs gonna, buy their fifth boat or their 10th Maserati? Like they need to have these riders come back.
Yeah, it's just like tax the shit out of them. Okay, Joe. I watched the next episode of The Flash, even
Yes, you
though the
did.
Green Arrow ended, and I gotta say, best episode of the season, best episode in seasons for me.
Okay.
Such a fantastic episode, and it ties into the season one finale, season one pilot. Even
Oh.
it shows what happened. We see that Barry. That Barry that tells
Oh.
him to put his hand up and say, "No, that is our Barry right now." We see the day and him. He meets his parents. Some fantastic flash writing here. Really, a lot of stuff gave me old season one, season two vibes. Music, same thing going along with it. Fantastic. Uh, Eobard, not the Tom Cavanaugh one, the other. I can't remember the guy's name right now. Matt
The OG
Lesher, I
one.
think. Matt Lesher.
Okay.
Uh, was in this. He was great as well. I thought Barry talking to him trying to antagonize Barry about like he was him as he's gone back and kill him. And I just really loved the back and forth there. Barry trying to stop him, he wouldn't stop. And he let it happen. And it was such a great whole full circle. And then he disappeared at the end of the episode. He disappeared at the end of like at the start of the episode and was brought there and then disappeared again. And at the very end, we see a little blue cobalt blue piece of uh, whatever gemstone or whatever we call it laying on the ground,
All right.
and it took over Joe as well in this when Barry Camp comes to this time in the year 2000. So it took over Joe, and Joe went hunting to try to kill Barry, and it's just cool to see Joe like first as a cop back in 2000, and same thing with Singh, and but also just him trusting Barry and him being like just. And it was nice to see him not giving a back seat and him being right in the middle of all the action like the first few seasons as well. So I really enjoyed this whole episode. It was fantastic.
That's
That was the
cool.
best of the season, and I'm really excited to see how they wrap up this final little story arc they have here with Cobalt. What I think is going to be Cobalt Blue because Eddie was in this as well. Eddie, but he was somebody different. I can't remember his name now. I think August. No, not August. Can't remember the guy's name now. And he got shot. Like the Flash experiment happened to him, and he got shot into the whole Vada thing, and blue was coming from him. So
Hmm.
really interested to see how they pan
Okay.
like end this off. I think they may. I don't know if they'll salvage the season with it. I'm really interested to see if that's the case. But really enjoyed the episode, Joe.
Yeah, but but having 4 good episodes at the end of the season doesn't make it
Well,
a good
5. If
season.
you the Green Arrow episode was
I was
half
counting that. They only have only 2 left?
4.
There's 4 left?
Yeah.
Wait, there's 13 episodes of the season, right?
Yeah, I think there's 15
Oh, there's
or
15?
14.
Okay.
Could be
Then
13. I know there's 3. Yeah, there's 3 more episodes left. Yeah, it's
alright, so okay, then
11,
5.
12,
Yeah,
and 13.
5.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, 5 episodes out of 13 still doesn't make it a good season.
If you have a really good, I wouldn't say good. I said salvage. Like right before I said salvage
You did say
because
salvage.
yes, because right before I would even include with the Green Arrow episode, I would call this pretty big dumpster fire of the season.
Yeah.
And this episode was one of the best in multiple seasons. So,
Okay.
if you have another strong 3, I would consider this better than several other seasons of The Flash.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying. It obviously won't go to like the heights of seasons 1 and 2. It's not going to reach that when you don't capitalize on the small. The stakes weren't made high, Joe, until
Yeah.
now. Like they had to do. They probably should have did something else instead of Red Death, uh, to switch it up there, which or made this whole Cobalt blew thing a whole storyline. I don't know if availability with actors and money and all that factors into
That could
play.
be
So
it, especially for the
yeah,
final season. But
so it'd be
I will say
interesting.
this fun little fact: Grant Gustin was at the Comic-Con this past weekend.
Was he?
He
Oh, that's
was. I
pretty
didn't
cool.
see him though. I don't like. Don't get me wrong. Go and see actors is all fine and dandy, but that's not really my thing.
No, I'm same. I'm not as big into that. Although I want to experience the con, so everything about a con, so I will definitely pick one person, maybe be a
Yeah,
voice actor,
they
maybe
had
be
they had him there. They had oh
Welling,
hmm?
Welling and Rosenbaum.
No, Tom Welling was supposed to, but he had to back out.
Yeah,
Um, Carla played
Cisco.
Vibe. Cisco was
Yeah.
there as
Okay.
well. Uh,
I wonder will we see
Walter
him?
Jones was there, which was cool.
Oh,
The
nice,
Black
Black
Ranger.
Ranger. Yeah, I have to
Um,
watch that too sometime this week. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet.
it's
So we
fine.
have our final thing of the night, Joe. Our Smallville retro recaps, season 2, episode 17, Rosetta. The episode that had Christopher Reeve in
Yes,
this. What do you think about this episode, Joe? Because this was a
I
fantastic one.
remember
I
when
watched this and Tocqueville at the same
yeah,
time.
I remember when this episode aired way back when, and I loved it then.
Mhm.
Rewatching it now, still loved it.
Okay, oh,
Still
so you
good.
had me on the edge of my seat for a second there.
That's the whole point. No, it's still great, still wonderful. I knew, and Talkville talked about this a little bit because I did watch some of it. I didn't watch all of it. I think when they brought Al and Miles on.
Yeah.
I listened to some of that, but I kept like not focusing, so I didn't really hear what all they were saying. But I do remember at some point, either in the commentary for the season or on a different show, Tom Welling had talked about how when they recorded this scene with Christopher Reeve, that the makeup people didn't know what they were doing, so that's why his lip not they didn't know what they were doing. They did the makeup, but it wasn't what they did with his makeup for the show
In
proper.
Vancouver, yeah.
Yeah, because this was in New York. So it looked off. And I remember watching that when it first aired. I'm like, that looks weird. Why is his lip so pouty? Like that's odd, but okay, whatever. Didn't care about it at the time. Um, and he mentions here, Tom did, that it was him and either Al or Miles, one of the two this time. And that's all there was. They flew out to New York, they filmed this scene. Apparently Christopher Reeve himself uh stayed longer than he should have.
Yeah, his handlers were like, "You only have this time," and after they
And if
left,
you
Chris Reeve like, "I will stay like until we get this right." And then at the end, they were like, "Yeah, you have to get him out. He's gonna die soon, so
yeah,
we
like
have to get him
there's like
he
if
has to."
you don't leave now, I'm gonna call the cops.
Yeah, he's like he has to
Um,
have a routine before he goes to bed,
exactly.
like kind of thing.
But
Yeah.
apparently Reeves was just wonderful to everybody. He loved Tom
Welling too.
as
He said that you did a good job casting
mhm,
Clark, and Welling said that he said to him like, "I haven't played." He said, "You like they picked a good person as Superman," and Welling was like, "I haven't played Superman yet. I've only played Clark." And he's like you should be."
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it
Yeah,
was a
it's man, great episode.
great episode, and you know what it does too? It really also helps make the appearances of the other Superman, the film, like legacy people, like Margot Kidder, like I can't remember the guy who plays. Oh my God, he's Annette O'Toole's husband in real life. He's the
Oh,
Daily Planet guy.
yeah. Crap, I
Yeah,
can't remember either.
yeah,
But
I
yes,
can't remember the actor, but yeah, all those Superman legacy people, it just heightens them, and he was fantastic in this. And also, this is I just want to know before we go, this is I'm not sure if this is the only one in a long time, or this is the only one I can remember where there was no bad guy. Like there's
same. I
nothing,
think
there's
they even
no
talked about that.
yeah, which I it just got a testament to the writing that it was still really appealing when you have no action in this whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, you had some of um the high school hijinks. Like I know when Pete is talking about the project that they're
Yeah,
doing, and Lana's like, "What if you were, what was it? What if you don't know which is your real parent?" And Chloe's like, "What if your mom left you and left the big dumpster fire?" And Clark is like, "What if you were adopted?" And they're all just kind of ganging up on him. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm a nuclear family, I guess." Well, what it is, but like you saw, it wasn't that the students weren't doing anything. Like they still had their lives going on,
Yeah.
and we still focused obviously on Clark, and all that. We saw Lex being all not conniving, but not giving up on the fact that he sees that Clark has something going on, um, and is hiding it from him. Heck, the opening scene is him coming up, driving up with his car, about ready to run over Clark.
Yeah, it's really weird too that he just like Lex. You can say he has blinders, empathy wants him to be friend, like his only friend he had, blah blah blah. But still, like you insult Lex's intelligence sometimes in this show by having him turn a blind eye to so many weird random occurrences with Clark
Well, but that's the
until
thing.
it's a good breaking point.
He turns a blind eye, but at the same time, he's still looking.
Yes, so
Like
which is even more of a conundrum, Joe, to be honest with you. If you're still looking into it, but you're still treating the guy like it's just a little bit more confusing to me.
yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
But I don't know, still a fantastic episode. Like
Really good.
completely
I
recommend
know.
this.
I think what was it? Annette had talked about when she had come on Talkville
She was
that
disappointed she didn't get to go to this.
yeah,
Like
this
Clark's
one
mother
or
could
even the
have been.
next one
Yeah.
because he comes back later on,
Mhm.
which I get. I agree. Like it would have been nice for her and Chris to actually be able to see each other again and have a conversation.
Would have been a nice little legacy thing too. It would have been a
Exactly.
little but
But
they weren't thinking about that stuff at the time. They were just excited
no,
to even get Chris
well,
because
because
they
they didn't
talked
know,
about fighting tooth and nail to get the Superman theme,
right?
John
Yeah.
Williams, because they don't use it all the time. They talked about
And I
fighting
think
tooth and
even
nail to get
even
that.
Al and Miles even were talking about they had this idea, and the minute that they had the idea, they immediately reached out to Reeves, Christopher's reps to be like,
Yeah.
"Can we set this up? Is this possible? What do we have to do?" And I think I remember them saying like, "We could do this, but like, where's the money gonna come from?" And they're like, "Well, we gotta figure this out because we really want this."
Yeah, and it was always a constant struggle. So anyway, I'm really glad the episode exists and it's such a cool passing of the torch. Just how I felt while watching it. That the old
Right.
Superman's giving the new Superman. Sorry, Dean Cain, but that's what it felt like when we watched it. Apologies to you, but yeah, it felt that way when we
Yeah,
watched it.
the Lois and Clark had its time, and I'm sure at the time Reeve had handed off the legacy to that to him too. But I don't know, just something about that one worked for the time. The
Yeah,
mid to late '90s. It would
like
actually, I
the
think it was more
Superman, the
early to mid
Smallville
'90s.
still holds up. A lot of the episodes still hold up today.
Yeah,
So
Superman
that's
Lois,
the difference.
not so much,
No,
not so
so
much.
uh,
Plus,
Joe,
Dean Kane's a crazy man now. So
yeah, douchebag. I tried to pull out of him when I decided it. This was a fun episode. I'm excited for Titans finale. I can't wait to discuss it with you. And let's
yeah,
hope we get more news besides Crypto appearing in Superman film. We have a film coming out soon, so
yeah. So
maybe we'll
if
get a
not,
little
we're
bit
gonna
more.
have a really Titans heavy week next week.
Yes. Till then, see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.